Okay, where do you normally get your coffee?
Starbucks.
Why do you like to go to Starbucks?
I think I like to go to Starbucks because everyone goes there, and it seems like the right thing to do, and it's right down the road, so it's kind of convenient.
How often do you go to Starbucks? A week?
I go to Starbucks
Probably like once every 2 weeks.
About 13 times a week.
About twice a week.
Why do you like to go to Starbucks?
Because it has a friendly atmosphere. It's where all my friends go. I really like their coffee.
I like the coffee there.
It's like the default place that you get your coffee. Like everyone goes there.
It tastes good. It's expensive, but it's good.
How?
Remember when we were young, we felt like the luckiest ones. Nothing to worry about. The whole world was a hand-me-down. It's hard to be different.
Starbucks has become one of the most popular places to hang out and get coffee for our generation within the last decade. But the question is, why? Being a Starbucks addict myself, I want to see what the combination of coffee, hipster music, and contemporary artwork makes Starbucks so successful, and most importantly, why it's so addicting. Let's start with some history. The first Starbucks opened in Seattle, Washington in 1971, originally selling coffee beans and tea spices only. 10 years later, a man named Howard Schultz walked into a Starbucks store for the first time and was so drawn to Starbucks, he ended up joining the team 1 year later. However, in 1983, he traveled to Italy and was very inspired by the coffee bars and Italian cafes and wanted to bring that style to America. Schultz then, for a short period of time, left Starbucks with the creation of his own Il Guinal coffee houses, selling coffee bars and various Italian-style drinks. However, he later returned to Starbucks in 1987, becoming the chairman, president, and chief executive officer, combining the two restaurant concepts. Up to today, Starbucks has opened over 18,000 stores in 62 countries, selling coffee, tea, sandwiches, coffee cakes, and other tasty treats. Have you ever had actual coffee before?
From Starbucks, I have never had actual coffee.
Kevin, I don't like coffee.
I don't like coffee. No, I've only had tea.
I never get coffee.
Have you ever had actual coffee?
No.
No.
I usually end up getting the tea, so I don't really get a lot of coffee.
As I said earlier, Starbucks is a very popular place to grab coffee with friends for young people. Based on the 15 people I interviewed, the average high school student goes to Starbucks about 3 to 4 times a week, and only about 3 of them drink and enjoy actual coffee. What I find curious is why so many of these people go to a coffee shop and barely drink coffee. In an interview with Dottie, the manager at one of the local Starbucks stores, I asked her why she thought so many young people go to Starbucks but never get coffee. She replied, "It's all about the image. The minute young people see other young people with that Starbucks logo on the cup, they're automatically cool." There is no doubt that having Starbucks in a hand gives people somewhat of an image of authority and power. Starbucks gets to be expensive. In fact, their cheapest drink, a tall Pike Place roast, is only $1.75, whereas a venti espresso or frappuccino can be as expensive as $5. So, with going to Starbucks about 3 to 4 times a week, the money starts to add up. This means that people are potentially paying between $6 and $20 a week on average to go to Starbucks. In the article, Starbucks, Where Did My Money Go?, David Paxton explores whether or not Starbucks prices are what they should be. After doing the math, Paxton said, it costs Starbucks $4.24 to pay for the coffee, cream, sugar, ice, and cup that is sold to us for $10. One reason some people don't enjoy going to Starbucks is because of its expense. But it appears that their high cost of their products is needed, as Paxton later explained that of this $10 purchase, Starbucks management team only makes a profit of $1.08. But even though people are still paying between $6 and $20 a week to go to Starbucks, it seems to be well worth it for both the consumers and the company. To have a better understanding of why Starbucks is so amazing, I interviewed 2 high school students who are regular Starbucks addicts. So, how often do you guys go to Starbucks?
Probably like 4 to 5 times a week.
I probably only like 3 to 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes twice a day, depending on the day, I guess.
Like, why do you go to Starbucks so much?
Because zero period's so stressful and getting up that early is difficult without coffee at this point.
But do you always go like before zero period?
No, not necessarily, I guess.
Yeah, well, you go more like after school. Like I would go before zero period, or if like I don't go before zero period, then sometimes I'll go in between going to Jackson and Glen Oak. So
Yeah, I go either before zero period or like on a weekend whenever I get up and I'm already like out doing stuff, then I'll just go.
Okay. What do you like about Starbucks?
the caffeine.
I don't know, like I said, there's just something about having like a Starbucks. I don't know what.
Well, I've gotten coffee from like Dunkin' Donuts before, and it's like I think I like theirs sometimes better because it's cheaper. So
Now, obviously, you don't have like coffee. They're like, what are you drinking right now?
This is a Clementine Izzy mixed with 4 pumps of raspberry.
And what are you drinking?
it's a sweet and passion tea lemonade.
Okay.
I like coffee right now.
Like, of the amount of times you do go to Starbucks, when do you actually get like, coffee?
Every single time except in the summer, like once or twice I might get this, but almost every single time I just get coffee.
Like, what's your favorite thing to get?
Well, Frappuccino wise would be a Java chip Frappuccino with a certain amount of pumps of espresso to add caffeine, or hot wise would be a peppermint mocha.
Okay, like, do you consider like a Frappuccino coffee?
No,
Okay.
unless you add coffee to it, which I do.
Okay.
Add coffee to it.
And
For
you?
me,
Well, how often do you get actual coffee?
like actual coffee, usually like every time. Like I'll usually get like a salted caramel mocha, and so like the mocha in it. Like usually I'll get that hot, or I'll make it into a frappuccino.
Okay.
Or I'll do like mixed frappuccinos. Like I've done like a vanilla bean frappuccino mixed with like raspberry. So
Oh,
it really
okay.
tastes like cotton candy.
What about, like, now do you come to Starbucks just, like, to get coffee, or what else do you do when you come to Starbucks?
Homework.
Homework.
Hours of homework have been done here.
Especially like when we both have big projects for classes, we'll come here and just spend hours doing homework. I mean, I almost always get coffee, but once or twice, if I'm just so busy and I've already had it that morning, then I won't get coffee.
Or
Oh,
just
okay.
get like tea or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you, like, hang out with your friends a lot here?
Yeah, it's pretty much the go-to spot to come.
Yeah, like after school or like catching up with people. Yeah.
What about coming here is so nice to hang out with friends rather than somewhere else?
Well, it's close. Everybody kind of lives around it,
It's
and
like something to do.
the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but have you been to Mugswigs before?
Yeah.
Yes, Mugswigs, Dunkin' Donuts. I've gotten coffee at like breakfast places like IHOP and
Samantha
Okay.
or something.
What, do you like Mugswigs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not
I
as
like
good as Starbucks,
Mugswigs.
though, for me, I guess.
Have you been to the Mugswigs in Jackson?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't like it as much. It's the atmosphere's not the same as the one downtown. The one downtown's very like hipster and
Do you consider yourselves addicted to Starbucks?
yes.
Probably.
Unfortunately, yes.
But hang on. What's the question?
Where do you normally get your coffee?
Is it on right now?
Yeah.
Oh, the Bell store.
At home, I make my own coffee. Normally Starbucks or like a gas station.
What do you like about their coffee?
I don't know. I think it tastes good. And like Starbucks is too fancy, expensive.
Okay. Well, how often do you go to Starbucks?
Like not that often. Like not even once a week, maybe.
Okay. What about you? Do you ever go to Starbucks?
Maybe once a month.
Are there drinks better at Starbucks or at Bell stores?
They're better at Starbucks. It's just I don't want to pay that much.
Have you had actual coffee before?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it better than like the Starbucks like frappuccinos and stuff?
I think so. No.
No.
I think so. Okay.
Have you gotten your coffee from other places besides Starbucks?
Yeah.
Like
Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Now, although those weren't my best interviews, they still helped me with researching this addiction. These 3 girls said that they get most of their coffee either from their home or someplace else less expensive than Starbucks. She said specifically that Starbucks is too fancy, but she also mentioned that the drinks are still good. That can only mean that what she thinks is too fancy is the decor. In each Starbucks facility, the walls are typically brown or tan with some colored accents, as well as photos of coffee beans and artwork. The website states, "We believe a coffee house should be welcoming, inviting, and a familiar place for people to connect, so we design our stores to reflect the unique character of the neighborhoods that they serve." This explains why, where we live, there are many pictures of people farming and collecting coffee because Ohio is a farming state. Well, what about the other artwork? Starbucks' website also states, in addition to reducing energy and water consumption, we incorporate reused and recycled materials whenever possible and use locally inspired design details and materials in our stores. Not only is Starbucks helping the environment, but they're also giving their stores a contemporary style that gives customers a relaxing and warm feeling when there. Our generation is notorious for posting on social media their Starbucks needs. I went on my Instagram account and out of curiosity, I typed in #Starbucks. 11,866,686 results popped up of random people posting pictures of their Starbucks that they bought that day, and that is within the month or two. Again, when people have a Starbucks cup in their hand, they are automatically cooler. So young people want to remind their friends of their coolness by sharing with everyone what they bought at Starbucks. When looking back at this idea of the Starbucks addiction, it appears that Starbucks can be just as appealing to young people as it is to older people. Dottie also said in my interview with her, Starbucks has great food, drinks, and music. And yeah, I see a lot of hipsters in here, but I see a mix of all ages in here, and that's because Starbucks can be for everybody. Based on my own results, whether someone drinks Starbucks or not seems to just be a personal preference. Asking someone if they prefer to drink either Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts is like asking them if they prefer Coke or Pepsi. But don't get me wrong, there are people out there who firmly believe they have a Starbucks addiction. To be honest, a person can be addicted to anything. But when it comes to Starbucks, it is easy to see how people can be easily drawn to it, and how it can become so addicting. Now, I would try to finish up my narration, but I'm craving Starbucks right now. So I'm gonna head out. But don't worry, I'll take a selfie later so you can all see what I got.